what you say.
Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more.
In my opinion, we don't need management. So I was, as being a manager, I said to my colleagues, I think it would be much better if we weren't there. So if people just go there, we are more obstacles than supporting people. So that was my idea about how organizations worked in general. That you see a lot of things which happens in organization, managers themselves think that they are caused by them. And my opinion was that most things would be much better if they weren't there. So that was the reason that I wanted to create an organization which was based on intrinsic motivation of nurses. And my idea was that if nurses are working together in small groups, they can organize everything themselves. So since 2007, we have had many nurses all over the country who applied for jobs, and still we have 100, 200 people per month coming in and joining us. And these teams are just growing. They have clients, they have referrals from doctors, from hospitals, from patients themselves, and they're growing every year. So we're growing every year with 1,500 people. Last year we grew with 40 million euro. So it's an organic growth. We don't make strategic plans of policy plans. It's just growing organically because people are very satisfied. The patients who get the care are very satisfied, and the nurses are very satisfied by the way they're working. We have been the best employer in Holland for 5 years now, and we have the highest satisfaction rates, and we have the lowest costs. So that's a good combination. And the way we organize leads to a back office. But I'm sitting here. That's the head office, and we have 35 people working here at the head office, taking care for 10,000 people at the moment. So and at this moment we are in a takeover for an organization who delivers more social care, so domestic care, cleaning the houses and so on. So the coming month, more than 3,000 more care workers will join us. So that will be a transformation of this organization. We only get the workers, so we don't get the management. So it's only the workers who are dealing with clients. And then we have the other countries, like in Japan. So we started to work in Japan and in Sweden and in United States. And we're now just back from Singapore because the Singaporean government wants to experiment with our model. In China we started, Taiwan wants to start, Australia, Canada, and I've been, all these Scandinavian countries are more or less experiment. We have an organization in Sweden called Granvard Svirich. And all the European countries, most of them are interested. We're working with small groups in England and Scotland and in Germany. And I think that your country is a very interesting country. But the most important thing is that it's just to focus on positive things. So not on negative. So not assuming that people don't want to do things properly. So I trust all the nurses. I don't have any reason. In these 10 years, we are celebrating this year our 10th anniversary. We have 10,000 nurses. We served for 600,000 patients, and we didn't have one complaint. So an average home care organization in Holland, which is much smaller, has 50 complaints a year. So you can say that by working this way, it works very preventive. So everyone takes their responsibility, and you see that this ownership, feeling responsible for what's happening in your environment, is much stronger than when you're working in a hierarchy. So I say the chance that anything goes wrong is much smaller than working in another organization where you're more, you can work more anonymous. So if you work in the organization I worked for, I saw a lot of things that you can hide from other people, and it's not very clear what you're doing. That's not possible in our way of working. Everybody can see what you're doing. So these are some things, but is that an answer to your question?
Yeah, it's also the paradox of trust. Sometimes we talk, the trust shall be gained. You have to prove your trust, but I hear from you that you just trust, and the trust.
Yeah. No, but it's the opposite. It's the opposite. I don't believe that you have to gain trust. I think if there's somebody who has to gain trust, it's the leader. So it's in Holland there has been a lot of research on what kind of professions are trusted by the people, by the citizens. And people trust doctors, nurses, teachers, and they don't trust managers. So there is a big trust. So I should, this discussion, I think that there is more, should be more critical view on me as the CEO than on the nurses. What we do in our teams is say support each other, find informal ways to deal with people around you, respect each other, respect other people, and don't spend too much time on status and ego things. So I think it could be used. This whole idea about self-organizing can be done in hospitals. It can be done in schools, with the police. I'm advising police. Next week I have a meeting with the Ministry of Education about how to adopt the principles in schools. So it's a discussion which is much bigger than only healthcare. If bigger organizations are not moving towards thinking about the higher purpose, they won't survive at the end. So that's what I see in a lot of countries, that we're struggling with these complex systems, and we need to go back to more creative ways of organizing, yes, more sensitive to the environment, and more humanized. If you look at the way your organization is structured, also leads to the different costs of that on different places. So if you have a lot of management, then you can't spend your money on other things. So we don't have much management, so we can spend our money on higher educated nurses and on innovation and quality. So we are much more, if you look at from a competitive way of thinking, we are much more competitive. And that's also the reason that we have grown so fast than other organizations. So there is an urge for organizations to think about, what do you want to be for the future?
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more.
What you say?